I'm sitting here with Cameron Saaiman, undefeated EFC Bantamweight champion. I mean, that was an awesome bit of news that you had right there. That happened just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster ride. After the title fight, we went 5 rounds, 5 hard-fought rounds, and it really has changed a lot in my life. It's a dream come true. So I'm fortunate.
I mean, you fought a veteran of the game, someone with about, I think, 15 fights he had, somewhere around there. I mean, that's a lot of experience to be getting in the ring with for a title fight.
Yeah, insane. Just 15, that's 15 professional MMA fights. And then he had more than a decade experience in judo. He's been an experienced grappler. So really hats off to him. He's a great opponent. And I couldn't have written the story better. It was great.
Yo, and you had to make some adjustments in that fight as well. It wasn't just all your way, like a lot of, like the public and stuff, because you're undefeated and you got a good reputation, like oh, Cameron's gonna walk this fight, but it wasn't that like that, was it?
Not at all. It was really a thing of after that second round, my coach was like, okay, the game plan we trained for 12 weeks, let's throw that out of the window and here's a new assignment. So it was really, I think this fight proved, well, I think for me, it's more important that I had a fight like this, so I can know, firstly, I can go 5 rounds, and comfortably, I felt great. I felt like if I had a minute's rest, I can do 2, 3 more. But also just that adversity in the middle of the fight, making the needed adjustments, that is super important for where we want to go. So it is really, it went really great, and I think I would choose that again over a first or second round knockout. So
I suppose the experience factor when it comes into something like that. But you're only 21 years of age now, so it's like right in the beginning of your career, but you're already a champion. I mean, a lot of pressure, right?
Yes, a lot of pressure, and I said it on our podcast as well. The pressure in this fight was as high as my debut, and there was a lot of resistance when I made my debut, and I could really feel the pressure this time again. But I think the best in the world know how to handle that, and credit to my coaches, my amazing team, my teammates. They give me the confidence to go out there, and just before the fight, I can honestly tell myself that no other person in the world will push me as hard as the guys in my training room. So I'm very fortunate to have that.
And who are those guys that you train with that are like coming up, or maybe they've made it already? Obviously, we know one is Drickus, but who are the other guys?
Man, we have Nerik Samus. He's fighting for the featherweight title against Ige Cabeza now in July. So I train with him daily. And then we have veterans like Marino Kutundana, who was up there in my division, in the Bantamweight division, for so many years. We have Hanro Enslen, who is a top prospect, and he's going to be going down to featherweight now. And Stefan De La Rey, he just got a impressive and insane knockout. So those are the type of guys we are rolling with, and that's great. Sizwe and Kati, I remember being 12, 13 years old and watching Sizwe fight. So you have this experience around you, which is awesome. And that's not even the coaches. Our grappling coach Neil Geyser, strength and conditioning coach Scotty Mack, he's the credit to him. That's the reason why my fitness looked as good as it did. And Henny Engelbrecht is our mental coach, and we do a lot of stuff together. And then obviously the godfather of Team CIT, the man that puts everything together, Coach Mornay Visser. So I'm really fortunate to have a awesome band of guys with a lot of knowledge and experience around me.
You've been overseas with the team as well, and have you managed to get a couple of good training sessions abroad? I know you went to part of the team that I think we went to Dubai, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah, so we were on Fight Island when Drickus made his debut. I couldn't train with a lot of the guys there because it was so restricted because of COVID. They were really strict with how you operate. So, but just that experience alone just gave me a lot of motivation to be like, firstly, I can see myself here. I think I'll eventually be good enough to fight here. And then secondly, they treat the fighter so well. I understand why everyone wants to fight for the UFC. They really treat you like the athlete that you should treat yourself as. So they look really well after you, and that really added motivation to the whole journey.
I know you will lean towards what Drickus has done. I mean, he was the EFC champion as well. He achieved that, and then he went outside of the organization and he achieved it another promotion as well. Is that something that you've been thinking about?
So I can't disclose anything right now, but I got some exciting news this morning. So it will be released very soon. But I'm excited. That's all I can say for now. I'm really excited. Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, well, it's always good to know that your career is progressing, and that you got opponents that are going to excite you and get you, and opportunities that are going to get you up. I mean, what is your motivation before all the big fights? Like, why did you get into the sport of MMA?
That was actually just like, I thought it was cool, to be honest. Yeah, I was a 12-year-old kid. I loved action movies, fight movies, and I happened to be at Carnival City, so my father worked for them, and I happened just to be there one night when the EFC was hosting an event, and I nagged them, my parents, for like three months, and then eventually we started, and that's honestly how the whole thing happened. And the goal was always just I want to fight in the EFC once. And then it spiraled into this healthy obsession, I think. So, yeah.
Well, you're doing well. So you're not taking like a beating or anything like that. That's when it becomes unhealthy, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, my fight with Billy Westhuizen, that was my third professional fight. I took a lot of damage in that fight, but I think we proved in my fight with Ruvan and now the title fight that I really came out unscathed. So if we can maintain that, I think I have a long career ahead of me for sure.
And for you now being, 21, or speaking also with Drickus about peaking in careers, and he was mentioning your weight division probably being between 23 and 33. I mean, have you looked at that as well and thought that's when you're really going to start fighting the big fights?
Yeah, of course, definitely. I think always in my brain has been a physical peak of like a little bit older than that. I think like 26, 27. And really, if someone asks me when will you retire, I have no idea. But for some reason, I've always had the figure of 36, 37 in my mind. So I'm 21. I still have a long way to go.
It's a very long career ahead of you. And to think about retirement now, I mean, I know people are going to always ask you, what do you think? Because they also may be interested in, following your career. But I mean, it is really early to be thinking about such things.
Yeah, no, but it is definitely, if you want to have a roadmap of how you want your career to go, any business, anything that has a success story has to have proper planning. And that's something our coach also always says. You have to have proper planning if you want to be successful. So you have to start thinking of stuff like that early on. And I think I don't want to take unnecessary damage, and there's a lot of stuff that works well for us outside the sport as well. We have great programs here I want to be part of. I want to be able to work with kids and work with clients here at our gyms. So to keep stuff like that in mind is, I think, smart for sure.
And also, like, anything can happen at any stage. Injuries, the whole thing. So you got to have something backed up. But I mean, for you, what's the most exciting part about training clients and that sort of thing?
I run the kids program here at CIT. So Little Legends MMA is our program. We are about 120, 130 kids in the program, and we have different locations in Harties, Ilada Spark, right across Pretoria. So that's a massive passion for me because I can really see the progression of these kids that are as big fans as I was when I started, so having an invested interest in that and, bettering their lives, from kids that have been bullied to young kids that actually want to do this as, like, they've decided already they want to do this as a job. It's really cool. So, and I want to be part of that for sure.
So you mentioned to me before you have a kickboxing background, and you said that those were probably the only losses you took. You never took a loss at MMA amateurs or pros. I mean,
yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, basically. Yeah, no, I've had, close to over 50 kickboxing fights. I've grappled. I've lost in grappling. I've lost in kickboxing, and I hate losing. So I really think, those losses I had early in my career, if you can call it that, at 14, was really the fuel on the fire for being able to work harder, make this a priority. I didn't go study when I was done with school, so this had to work, and I put as much work into this, or even more, as any other job. So that's how I see it. It's a job.
So I mean, like, it's an individual sport, but it's also a team sport, right? Because you've got the whole team behind you. But one of the reasons why Heki Butler, I don't know if you know him, is a world champion boxer. He said that the only reason he got into boxing because he couldn't handle like other people, like in rugby, like he couldn't handle other people messing up. He needed to make his mistakes. Is that like an individual thing for you? Like if you make the mistake, is that one of the reasons why you got into this sport?
That's a great way to think of it. I met Haki a few weeks ago, and what a gent. He's such a cool guy. And yeah, I did team sports, and it was really frustrating if someone else made mistakes. But definitely, if mistakes have to be made, I want to be the one to take that. And I think also that's why I put so much pressure on myself before fights, because I don't want to let the team down. So I think that's why fights are stressful, but we are learning how to manage that. And anyone that says they are not nervous before a fight is either lying or it doesn't mean that much to them. So this means the world to me, and I want to keep on representing Team CIT in the manner I've been lucky enough to do so far. Yeah.
So all the pressure you put on yourself and no one else, that's just you.
No, it's me. At the end of the day, I'm locked in there with the other guy, and there's a third guy just there for our safety. But if something had to go wrong, it's on me for sure.
So when you go back to your teachings and you got like a little kid that says, "Oh, I want to be a fighter," do you encourage them to say, okay, let's take it slowly? Like, how do you deal with kids? Because kids are very enthusiastic. They want to do a lot of things.
Of course, yeah. I've always had an open approach. Like, I was also a kid that I did skateboarding for 2 weeks and then I got over it. So I understand stuff change, and we have had a lot of students where parents put a lot of pressure on them. So we just try to explain to them that if you keep on pressuring a student like that, they'll grow tired of it. And that's also a big thing. Like my head coach, Coach Mornay, he always reminds us before we walk out, remember to have fun. Okay. And that's what it should be for kids. It should be a fun thing. They should want to come to training every single day because they enjoy it. So the moment that aspect goes away, then you should reconsider if you should keep on doing it. But over the course of, I've been teaching kids since I was 16, 15, so I was a kid myself. And I really see if the kids enjoy it and they want to do that, then we'll definitely motivate them to just keep on doing what they're doing now. Yeah.
All right. So for any young kid out there, it's just about them basically taking their time and enjoying it themselves. A lot, as you said, parents can make. We've all been there where you want to force a certain career on you. But Cameron, when should we be hearing this news? I know you're not going to announce it, but when should we sort of hear it?
So, well, by the time, I don't know when this goes out, but probably a week from when we recorded this. Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah, I'll figure it out somehow how to do that. But in roughly. I don't even know how to say it, but yeah, it'll come soon, so people will hear about the news. It's exciting for you, so I'm sure it'll be exciting for the public as well. Is there anything lastly you just want to leave us with before we go?
If you are serious about training MMA and you are in the Pretoria, even Joburg area, and you want a proper gym that will take care of you, we have this amazing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu facility here behind me. Next door we have the boxing gym. Next to that we have the strength and conditioning and the MMA side. So really, if you want to, come stop by. We get a lot of people saying like they'll meet us and they'll be like, "Oh, you're not what I imagined. You're so chilled." Like everyone is like this here, So yeah, we are really a bunch of guys that are willing to help, and we have great coaching staff. So come say hello.
Join the club. All right. Thank you so much again for catching up with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the work that you're doing both in boxing and MMA. I really appreciate it because you are helping the sport grow into what it is today. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate those words.